Hello, good morning. I recently happened to see a book like this. This is probably one of my favorite pieces of art I've ever seen. And my favorite part is that I haven't even read it. This book was written by a guy called John Dominic Bowlby. I think that's how it's pronounced. And the thing is, that person wasn't able to move anything. He had some kind of sickness, in a way. And the only thing that he was able to do was blink his one eye. Now, you might be wondering how this person wrote it in the first place. Exactly how this person was able to do such thing. Despite that book being a small one, the effort to write such work, is enormous. Preposterous. The person only had an assistant when he was in a clinical bed, and he had an assistant where she was writing a letter one at a time for every number of blinking he did. Talk about resilience, if you ask me. And the thing is, that is remarkable. That is admirable. And I'm saying this why? Because I don't think I appreciate enough the amount of opportunities I may have in front of me. And I think, for the most part, we're more defeated for some reason, rather than being courageous and saying, no, we're gonna make it, for whatever reason. And now, thanks to this tiny little book, and the now enormous courage and patience someone needed to write this, I don't think I'll ever give up on anything else again. But besides that, I think that I'm making this video essentially to say that really there's nothing in it for me in this life other than doing exactly what I'm doing right now, to speak to camera, start saying my nonsense until I make it make sense. And this nonsense usually have to do with essentially how to live. What's the point of doing anything? Why do we live? What's the point? What's the meaning in life? Why bother do anything if it's just suffering and nothing more? Life is whatever you make it. And this little book is a small demonstration of it. Simply because he wanted to. It was a sheer amount of will that he managed to do that. And he was determined to do that because probably it was important to him. So, for his maybe reasoning, life mattered for something other than what it is right now. For example, to leave out a legacy. The person has more limitations that most people have, and the amazing thing is that he wrote a book that most of us would say they can write it, but didn't. This realization shocked me a little bit, because I was saying to myself at least, or in general, that I want to do such channel, such presentation, because from a very young age I started talking about life and start philosophizing and asking questions. Okay, what are the important things in life? What are the things that are worth spending time on? As of the time that I'm recording this, I'm 27 years old, and there's nothing in it for me anymore. I have done everything I ever wanted to do. I appreciate everything that ever happened to me, everything and everyone that brought me to this place. I'm saying this because I have the impression that we live in an age where, even though we have so many more opportunities, it was also never easier for us to produce a bunch of frauds in a way. I'm doing this because really that's all I believe I was born to do. I was made to talk about those things, to talk about life and existence, and the beauty in life when everything is against you. That life is still worth it. Life is still beautiful. Life is still amazing. That I think I live the experience better than any other time in my life. I'm alive. I'm happy. And I appreciate everything that ever happened to me. That includes the bad ones, because the adversity, in a way, helps you move on. There's some kind of guilt in in some people that never managed to prove themselves to the world. They never even tried it because I must go out junior high school, college, educate yourself, take your license, find a job, and then stuck there for the rest of your life until you have some years left out of pension. I didn't want to do that. Even my first 5 years old of my life were, for me at least, were extremely hard. I had my conditions that eventually I may as well talk about them. I was starting actually asking questions from then. I was thinking, what's the point of doing anything? Why bother? Why bother? Just fit in the box, and that became really exhausting in the early years. But now I can see some value in it in a way. But from a very young age, I was starting asking things, and I had this obsession with you must actually grow up and improve because you have to take care of yourself. And in a way, I didn't really like it because it took so much work that I wasn't able to do or to produce, and I was constantly, in a way, a stressed kid. In time, I managed to adapt, and it became one of my biggest assets to be able to handle hard situations and dare to do things and dare speaking the truth and dare to think and challenge people when I see them say nonsense, at least in my eyes. And the beauty in that is that in a way gave me the traits that I could recognize in people that I knew that were worth my time, that I could call them friends, or to completely ignore some people and just don't give any more attention to them. I managed to have right now an amazing group of friends. I'm totally satisfied with them, and you know exactly who you are. I thank each and every one of them. With that out of the way, life became much more easier, much more adaptable, and much more sufferable. Because when you're alone, you have to do everything yourself, obviously, and you have to learn to communicate and be honest and learn to trust. And you trust with courage. You trust by saying, you know what, I may as well say something to you that is precious to me and that makes me look vulnerable. But despite that, I choose to trust you because I want to move on with my relationships and I want to have better friends. When you grow up, you don't necessarily adapt. And the questioning comes when you want things out of your life, when you want better relationships, when you don't want to be alone, when your health you believe it suffers, but you must do something about it, and you absolutely should do, in my opinion. So the person who actually struggles the most, the person who never challenges themselves, are the most ironically sad because they never prove themselves. I think there's a huge amount of satisfaction and purpose by just proving yourself. At least I tried. The fear is so strong of looking bad, of being alone, of being looked at and say, don't ever try again. I told you. I told you you shouldn't have tried. You're alone. You're alone now. We warned you. You shouldn't have done that. And this mindset is that makes people never dare or never do anything with their lives, even though they want it, because they're gonna get heavily judged or excluded. When it should be the other way around. There is no better time to dare other than now, and we should embracing courage. Let's mean what we want. We want to live. Okay, what does that look like? What do people search in their existence? If nothing, good for them. It can be that nothing as an answer. It can be after a lot of hours of thinking and searching because they're saying there's nothing in it for me, in the sense of I don't have a particular purpose and just enjoy the trip of existence. That can be a great answer too. People really want to be challenged and people want to have a purpose or something because it's something fundamental. And so I would like to say that out of this life, the thing that I would love to have the most is just the wisdom to just exist. In a way, I feel complete. I'm just doing this out of luxury. And I'm saying this because this could be a small start for me, for something big, who knows. I just wanted to do this because I think this is what I'm supposed. This is who I am. That's what I'm supposed to do. And I'm sorry I didn't do this some years earlier when I was thinking about it. But now I'm here. Our friend, our friend here, convinced me to do it, and that's gonna be for today. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.